Okay, so an intensive care unit, that is a place where life-saving happens. So we have a full array of medications, procedures, interventions, devices, all to save a life. But there is one thing we don't know, and it's such a simple thing, it's funny really, we don't know how to feed our patients. So it may seem trivial for me and for you, but our average intensive care unit patient cannot tell us how much energy do they need. So what we then do is we turn to the guidelines that tell us when do we begin, how much to give, how to proceed, and so on. But there is a problem with those guidelines, and that problem is they are based on a metabolic phase theory, which is something stating that metabolic response to critical illness is universal for all patients. But is it? And the answer to that can be provided by a method called indirect calorimetry, which is basically a way of measuring the oxygen we consume and the CO2 that we produce, putting those numbers into an equation and coming up with a number of actual burned energy needs. And in my research, I'm using this device to demonstrate that each patient is unique in their metabolic needs, and as the disease progresses, their metabolic needs and their energy needs change uniquely and often unpredictably. So instead of guessing, we can actually measure. And once we know the numbers, we can then feed each patient according to their own unique needs. And what that means is that patients will lose less muscle mass, and that translates into better outcomes for our patients. So more people will get to leave the hospital standing on their own 2 feet and not in a wheelchair. More people will leave the hospital and go home and not to a nursing home. And finally, more people will leave the hospital wearing their own clothes and not a body bag. So, my goal here is to change the way we see nutrition in critical illness. And I can tell you that much. It is not a one-size-fits-all strategy.